In the bustling city of Nairobi, amid the chatter of markets and the hum of traffic, a growing sense of unease had taken root among the youth. Many of them, born in the late 1990s and early 2000s, had come of age in a country struggling with economic challenges and rampant unemployment. The promises of better days seemed distant, overshadowed by the stark realities of a struggling economy and the opulent lifestyles of political leaders. Makena, a recent university graduate, was among those feeling the pinch. Despite her qualifications, she found herself unemployed and disillusioned. The frustration wasn't just hers, it was a shared burden among her peers. As they scrolled through social media, they saw a recurring theme: lavish parties and extravagant purchases by politicians, all funded by taxpayer money. This opulence contrasted sharply with the economic hardships faced by ordinary Kenyans. The tipping point came with the introduction of the Finance Bill 2024. The bill proposed significant tax increases on essential items like bread and menstrual health products, as well as services such as mobile money transfers. For Makena and her friends, this was the final straw. They were already struggling to make ends meet, and the new taxes threatened to push them over the edge. Harnessing the power of social media, Makena and her peers began organizing. Platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and X became their battlegrounds. They educated the public about the bill, using hashtags like #RejectFinanceBill 2024 to spread their message. The movement quickly gained traction, drawing support from across the country. One evening, in a small apartment filled with the buzz of activity, Makena joined a virtual meeting with fellow activists. They discussed strategies, shared information, and planned their next moves. It was here that they decided to take their protests to the streets. They called for demonstrations in major cities, urging young people to join them in demanding accountability from their leaders. On the day of the first protest, Makena stood among thousands of young Kenyans in Nairobi's city center. They carried colorful placards with witty slogans, their voices echoing through the streets. The police, caught off guard by the sheer numbers, responded with tear gas and water cannons. But the youth were undeterred. They regrouped, using digital tools to coordinate and communicate, ensuring their voices were heard despite the crackdown. As the protests continued, the government's response grew harsher. There were arrests, injuries, and even fatalities. Yet the resilience of the young demonstrators only strengthened their resolve. They exposed instances of police brutality online, rallying further support from the international community. Makena's journey through the protests was both harrowing and inspiring. She saw friends injured, witnessed acts of bravery, and experienced moments of profound solidarity. The movement's persistence paid off when the government announced amendments to the Finance Bill, removing some of its most punitive provisions. In the aftermath, the Gen Z movement had not only achieved tangible policy changes, but had also ignited a new sense of empowerment among Kenya's youth. They had shown that through unity, digital savvy, and unwavering determination, they could challenge the status quo and demand a better future. Makena, standing on the steps of a now iconic protest site, looked out at the gathering crowd. She knew the journey was far from over, but for the first time in a long while, she felt a flicker of hope. The youth of Kenya had found their voice, and it was powerful enough to shake the very foundations of their society.